Once upon a time, Americans loved apple pie and Shirley Temple.
My goodness.
Today, not much has changed as Shirley has influenced generations.
I used to know those songs backwards and forwards, you know?
Fox Movie Channel presents an exclusive original documentary, ShirleyMania.
Hi, Shirley.
Her talent made her a star.
We are Shirley Temple of Doom.
Her fans have made her a legend.
I said, do hands like this.
I want to be springy, I want to be happy, I want to be joyous. Like
ShirleyMania.
I'm the good chip lollipop.
Next on Fox Movie Channel.
So what comes to your mind when I say Shirley Temple?
Oh, I remember that you sing and dance.
Sweetest, cutest, most talented little girl that's ever been.
Oh, Shirley!
This girl right here? Yeah, she's like a famous kid star thing.
I've got 9 granddaughters, and they all know who Shirley Temple is.
Oh, that little girl right there?
That's Shirley Temple?
Oh, hi.
She's like a big arm, so.
I have one of her Christmas cards that she sent me hanging on my wall at home. I framed it.
If you look up child star in the dictionary, it would have a picture of Shirley.
She was a wonderful little girl, and I was crazy about her.
My grandmother used to tell me how she made everybody happy during the Depression. Like she was a little girl, just the cute, innocent girl.
Let's walk and do our strut.
She definitely, I'm sure, enlightened and endeared an entire era.
Shirley Temple meant universal love.
I wish I could have the hair like that. That's how much. Ooh, I wish I was on that good ship lollipop with you.
I used to sleep with my fingers here, and it never got the dimples.
How about them nipples?
Shirley's mother used to say, "Sparkle, Shirley," and she did. She sparkled.
She's like Tinkerbell and Minnie Mouse and all the characters we love. And so, hey, what's not to hold up forever?
You got to take into consideration that Britney's kind of raised the bar a little bit. You know, would Shirley be out there with, you know, a boa constrictor and leather? Probably.
To this day, I still have not seen anybody that could ever compete with her at her age.
Shirley Temple is immortal. She'll always be here at Movieland because she's one of the public's favorite.
It's not just the new artists. My girls know so much about Shirley Temple. It's amazing.
Hello, we are Shirley Temple of Doom. And I don't think it's anything bad to be connected to someone who is such an icon. And she was really someone who entertained people and made people feel really good.
I love Honolulu. I hope I can come back someday.
And I think that that's a great thing for us to be linked to, is that we do make people feel really good. I mean, maybe we don't always make them feel good, but at least we get a reaction out of people when we're playing our music, you know what I mean? I have dressed as Shirley Temple just one time. We both did a Halloween show. Yes.
Jeff and I did, and we were out there kind of moshing on stage, and we had the bloomer.
The bloomers, the wig, the whole thing, polka dot dresses.
It was great. It was
very liberating.
It was a very cool moment, you know, because it kind of made it all make sense.
I'm Donovan Brandt. This is Eddie Brandt's Saturday Matinee Video Store, the best video store in the world, because we have everything you could possibly hope to find on video, or it probably doesn't exist. We got all the Shirley Temple movies she ever made, and her shorts, and the television series she did, the Shirley Temple Storybook Theater. All I can tell you is she's popular.
Lots of people come to rent Shirley Temple. They usually either buy the whole collection or they want to rent all the different movies.
Well, if somebody came in and wanted a Shirley Temple tape, I would, one, find out if they want one when she's a little girl, if they wanted something where she's a grown-up adult. I would say walk right this way. This would be one I would recommend for her as, you know, a young child in her typical musical role and stuff. Where am I going? I just patched the BAs. I'm in the BAs for Baby Take a Bow. What am I thinking?
Have you found them yet?
And then, of course, she has a million titles that start with Little. Little Miss Broadway. Littlest Rebel. That's the one, the famous one with Bilbo Jangles Robinson, where they do the dance up and down the stairs. And then Little Princess, of course. This and Bluebird were the two films that were shot in Technicolor.
We looked everywhere for it. Everywhere. And all the time it was right here.
And then, of course, I would offer somebody a choice, and we have more than this if you like. But if they don't know what they're looking for, I think this would be a good core to choose from.
Know anything about movies, Shirley? Oh, yes, she takes her own.
You want to talk about Shirley Temple? I'm wearing my Shirley Temple curls today.
Hi, I'm Brenda Sullivan, and I work here at the Hollywood Costumes and Toys. And I'm one of the stylists that love Shirley Temple. Shake those curls, and they're just springy. They're just right there. Each curl is just wonderful. It's Shirley. It's just shouting, Shirley, Shirley. Shirley, wherever you are, we love you, darling. And you never, ever will be forgotten, even in the wigs. We do custom styling here. We'll set the curls, and then once we set that curl, we take the roller right out, and it just comes right into a perfect curl. And it's Shirley, simply Shirley. Bye-bye, sweetheart, the best.
Thank you.
You're the best. That's sensational. Sometimes everyday people or just someone just off the street, they want to look like Shirley Temple, or their little kids, you know, a little girl. Shirley Temple. It's okay, we'll make it. And you know, these parents, they don't mind putting out the money for the hair, for the whole look, because they love her. They want something that inspires everybody. Goes, oh, it's Shirley. You don't have to say who it is. They look at those curls, they look at the outfit that they're wearing, and they know it's Shirley Temple.
So what's the first thing that comes to your mind when I say Shirley Temple?
It's a great drink.
I always think about the drink.
Sprite and cherry flavoring.
Little drinks that my father used to get me.
Non-alcoholic drink.
Who hasn't had a Shirley Temple?
My name is Arthur, and I'm a bartender here at the Pig and Whistle. Pig and Whistle, it was opened in 1927 and was built next to the Egyptian Theater because they knew they'd benefit from a relationship being so close to that theater. And they had movie stars coming here, like Shirley Temple. It's documented that she's been in here as a child star. I don't think she came in and had a Manhattan or anything like that. People come in here all the time, and they like to have Shirley Temples. It's not just for kids, although lots of kids like them. But I've had businessmen come in, and they just have a sweet tooth, they like them. Lots of ladies like to have them. So it's still very, very popular. I probably make about 5 a day, 10 a day. It's cherry syrup. You pour that in first. Usually give about a quarter of the glass. And then you top it off with Sprite or 7-Up. There you go. And then the garnish for it are maraschino cherries, usually 2. Because usually a kid's drinking it and they love cherries. There's straw. Here you are.
Oh, look, there it is. Oh, Shirley Temple, look at it. Oh,
Here, we'll take it right. Wait, you want a picture? Thank you.
Shirley Temple's house is right down there, second from the corner.
This is our house. We've been here for about 6 years, but back in 1928, this was Shirley Temple's house. This was her birth house, and it's a very, very special house. And I want to take you inside. This is the original living room. We wanted to keep the original floors because this is where Shirley Temple probably learned her first dance steps. I walked into this living room and I looked around and I told my husband, we have to get this house. But of course we had a lot of competition. There were 8 other bidders that were coming in, the other potential buyers, bringing in their architects and their designers, and they were all talking about tearing down the house, and that's not what we had in mind. When we heard that this was Shirley's birth house, we said, well, we have to find a way to preserve this house. We're very, very proud of this house, and I call this house Shirley's Temple. I understand that when they moved into this house, there was Shirley and her two brothers. It's not a very big house, it's a two-bedroom house, so we were wondering where Shirley slept. And I understand that they actually used this living room as her bedroom. So you could imagine that this is where she took her first step. She ran on her toes, running around. I could just see her. That makes me very happy that we live in the temple's shrine.
Hi, I'm Melinda, and I live in Shirley's house that was built after she became a star. This was Shirley's playroom, which is now, a family room for us upstairs. And these beams that are whitewashed are original. She had her stuffed bears and some of her dolls back in what is our computer room now. When we bought the house, this little closet, I guess, had been made into a gun rack, which we just couldn't believe was in Shirley's playroom. This room is really quite unchanged. My son sent me a special of Shirley Temple, and of course we were looking very, very carefully to see if we recognized anything with our house, and she had a birthday party right here.
I'm so glad you can come. Come on, let's have a piece of cake. Thank you very much.
We recognized our powder room window. We're going down to, we call it the malt shop, but it's where Shirley was tutored, and it was really her playhouse that was built in the Art Deco period in the 30s. Everything is in miniature. She has a little miniature sink in there and little miniature shelves. And she had her tea parties and played down here. The house was split in two in 1952. And the original entry included this fountain. The other half of the pond is in my neighbor's yard.
And this is the other side of the fountain. Hi, I'm Lisa Miller. I live on the south side of the original Shirley Temple house. The houses were connected across this way. This was actually an indoor fireplace. We think it was part of the main grand living room of the house. There's a photograph that shows that room with this fireplace. It led straight into my living room. I've always thought, because we've got this huge attic, how great it would be to find an old box of Shirley's things tucked away in a corner that had been overlooked. I haven't quite gotten up the nerve to go through every corner up there, but someday.
Hi, welcome to the world-famous Roosevelt Hotel, home of the first Academy Awards. This was a very, very hot spot back in the 30s. Shirley Temple was in our lobby looking over our stairs and basically attempting to do this shuffle dance. As she turned and looked into the lobby, she realized that Bojangles was in the lobby. She then approached him and asked for his assistance in helping her learn this shuffle dance for the movie called The Little Colonel.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Come on. Say, you catch on quick. Look out now. Here's your last one.
This is the famous staircase that Shirley Temple practiced her staircase dance on.
Little Colonel's my favorite movie, and she does an impression of Lionel Barrymore, so it's the funniest thing when she gets all red in the face. Oh, that's what she says. I get all red in the face.
I get all red in the face.
Oh, she goes, I holler back at people too.
And I holler back at people too.
Love when she does that. Grinds her teeth. I do that all the time.
I don't think a lot of people realize that there's another little girl on the lot that you're standing that stands in for you under the lights. So she goes through very much the same things as you do, being on the lot all day, and people didn't realize that you always had a little girl your age working with you, which made it fun.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Granis. I was Shirley Temple's first stand-in back in the early 30s. The first picture that I worked on with her was Baby Take a Bow. That's the first picture that was ever taken of Shirley and me together. I worked when she wasn't working, and she worked when I wasn't working. And then between shots, when they were resetting, then we'd play dolls and we'd play house on the sets that weren't being used.
Here we are at the Fox historical lot, and what more history can we find than the Shirley Temple bungalow? This was her home away from home. If you look closely into the building, you will notice that some of the windows are even lower, the doors and so on. That's because, of course, when you have a kid who's only like 3 or 4 feet tall, then it makes it a lot more accessible. If you sneak right in here, you see it past it, you see that the doorknob is only about 3.5 feet off the floor. A normal doorknob is about 4.5, just a foot less than your normal one.
Is this her bungalow? I'm sure that tree wasn't that big. I think it had a little picket fence, and, you know, I think it looked cuter.
Not only did the building have inside all the comforts at home, i.e. a kitchen, the nice little restroom, a nice little bedroom, but it also up front, it had like a white picket fence that resembled like a small house. Then this used to be like like roses on either side, all the way up to the entrance.
That was Shirley's private place, and she had her schooling in there, as I recall. And it was her place to get away from, you know, from everything. Stage 8. I think those are the original stage doors. There's a wonderful smell on a stage of new wood. It all smells. Yep. I think this stage was here when I used to work here. They would call me in, and I would run through where Shirley was going to be in the scene. And they would set the lights and the camera on me to save Shirley from getting worn out, because it was hot under those lights. It's the commissary. It's where Shirley had her birthday parties. And we used to go to lunch here every day. I wonder if it looks the same inside. I think that those are the same murals they had on the wall. Yeah, I see a picture of Shirley up there. It smells nice. There's Will Rogers.
Shirley Temple's birthday, and Will Rogers makes a speech.
And you are the biggest entertainer in the world today. And you have arrived at that position by not making speeches.
So a painting of Shirley is unveiled in the Fox Studio dining room in Hollywood.
I think these are original murals. Look at the old bathing suit. I mean, they're definitely from the 30s. There's no question about it. It's the original room. It's marvelous. Wow. And when Shirley had her birthday party, her main table was up here. And then this whole thing would be filled with kids.
I want to thank you very much. I think it's very nice to have a big party like this.
They always had lovely food and lovely prizes. Everybody got a favor. And I remember one of the favors that they gave were beautiful leather autograph books that Shirley had autographed. I've still got mine. I think my favorite lunch of all time was a deviled egg sandwich and a chocolate milkshake. And Shirley used to like vanilla ice cream with gravy on it, which was really chocolate syrup. Well, there's a picture of Shirley in there. Oh, they're all pictures of Shirley. It's the Shirley Temple room. Ah, look at this. Amazing.
The Shirley Temple statue that we recently unveiled here on the lot. We were thinking, you know, what would be appropriate? You know, she's such a part of the history that we really wanted to make her a permanent part of the studio. And we're actually at the Fox Child Development Center. No more fitting a place since Shirley spent so much of her youth on the lot that we immortalized her in this pose. You know, this is one of the iconic images of a young Shirley. It was a unanimous decision that we felt this was the one to immortalize here on the lot.
When you think of this little girl during World War II, during the Depression, keeping everybody's spirits up when they were so sad and so depressed and so frightened, and in some cases tragically so, that is a ministry of light. It goes way beyond ego. It's like a service that she did for all of humanity.
My name is Peanut, and welcome to Movieland Wax Museum here in Buena Park, California. We have 300 stars here and 150 sets, so let me show you some of our favorite sets here. We're coming towards Shirley Temple. She's one of the public's most popular wax figure. Ooh, she has lots of toys. Our Shirley Temple wax figure was made in the 60s by one of our original sculptors. And he started out with a clay mold of her and poured wax. When she was originally put on display in the 60s, she was wearing a white dress from the movie Bright Eyes, but due to age and it's become dilapidated, so we've had to make her a new dress, and the public really likes her from Stand Up and Cheer, so we made that particular dress. Here we have some Shirley Temple souvenirs. We have some Shirley Temple mugs. We also have some jewelry boxes, which is actually musical, and some plates right here, like this one's from her movie, The Poor Little Rich Girl. You know, it's very hard to get Shirley Temple merchandise. When I get them, I buy them all. Seriously, they disappear quickly. I'm definitely a Shirley Temple fan, and a lot of times when we're walking by the museum, you can hear us humming Good Ship Lollipop. This is us when we're not working. This is what we do.
Well, basically, we're in the Anaheim Hobby City Doll Museum. There's approximately 6,000 dolls on display in our museum. We have a sales area, shop selling new dolls, some used, recycled dolls.
I'm Yvonne Ansdell, and I want to welcome you to the Doll and Toy Museum. This represents a collection of dolls that my mother started collecting when she was 12 years old. She passed away when she was 89, so this represents 77 years of collecting.
Well, I kind of grew up here. This is my grandma's museum, so it had a chance just to find out about Shirley Temple and Cupids and all kinds of different dolls. And I love them only in so much that I love my grandmother, so I grew up with her and then just watching all that. So I've been here my whole life since I was a little kid.
We have quite a large collection of Shirley Temple dolls because her sister was a big fan of Shirley Temple. Muriel and my mother, B.D. Arman, would sit on the floor and play with Shirley Temple dolls for hours and hours. The museum was built for strollers, and so mother and father thought, well, what are those children going to see as they're pushing the strollers? And so as you can see, the antique dolls are on the upper level, and the dolls of our time that are closer that maybe the children would recognize are down below. And as you can see, they are the Shirley Temples, because of course the kids of today still are watching the Shirley Temple films. And so that's why we have Shirley down here. We have kids that come in here and lay down on the floor and just look at the dolls, and you can see they're all in the different costumes. Every once in a while you'll see a doll and not the authentic clothing, and that's because my mother, this particular dress was made by her mother, and so she wanted to dress the doll by what her mother made. So actually there's a lot of sentiment in her collection, which there is in most people's collections. This Shirley Temple doll here that plays the organ, it's one of 4 that was playing in the Lord & Taylor's department store window in New York in 1934. And she plays and sings here her little organ every day in the museum and never quits. So she's always playing her tunes. And everyone loves it because she's playing her little tune, and as you're looking at the little dolls, it really sets everybody in a happy mood.
I should be able to sing the songs, because when you work in here and Shirley sings all day long, I think I wake up in the night sometimes hearing her singing her songs.
The connection with Shirley in the museum, of course, is Shirley represented a family-type person and a moral to the story. My mother was a person that really cared about family values, and so all of her movies and all of the songs and the tunes she would play touched Mother's heart. Today we have 5 generations of children in our family. They're all working here on the land, and the museum is open 7 days a week and plans to be here for another 100 years.
My grandma would so have loved Shirley to see her collection and to see how well they were displayed and how much love and care was taken to put in the collection.
This collection is not for sale. That's all there is to it. It doesn't matter what anybody would offer. It chokes me up to think about it. It really does have a lot of meaning to us.
Well, anytime I see anything Shirley, it makes me want to buy it. I swear, every time I buy something, I'm not buying anything else, because I have a room full of stuff. And I have boxes of, newspaper items, scrapbooks, but I can't help myself.
I joined the club in 1983 or 4. Once a month, we meet at different members' homes.
I grew up, had a family, took care of them. My last child was 1 or 2 years old. I decided, okay, it's time for me to go have some fun, and my husband can watch my children, so I joined the Shirley Temple Club.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hello.
Happy Halloween. Hi, Lene.
We come in, we all sit down, say hello, until the secretary and the president call the meeting to order.
It's 7:48. The meeting will please come to order.
The secretary will read the minutes who attended the meetings.
I'm going to read the minutes of the September 12th meeting. President Ruth Pollock called the meeting to order at Lee Heath's home at 7:32 p.m.
And then she'll go around the table and ask, do you have any news? And everybody gets a turn to speak up.
I've never had so much fun in my whole life.
I would like to talk about the convention now. The first time we had the table centerpiece, I won the centerpiece. This was the tote bag that I got as a prize in the trivia game. This just happens to be a door prize that I won. It's made out of wax. Look at this, ladies. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. And it's the design on both sides.
Oh, where did they get that design for that dress?
This was the little doll that we made.
A cutie.
And here's a magnet. This was another giveaway. It's the plate.
Jeepers, that's beautiful.
And then the tote bag was in this bag. Then this was another little giveaway. This was just a little trunk that she passed out to everybody who was in that doll workshop. Are you the keeper of all my goodies? No.
Collectors can get pretty snatchy. I mean, you could be looking at something and
And I have one for Jackie. It's not just dolls. There's so much Shirley Temple memorabilia out there.
And there's other Shirley clubs which aren't as large as ours. Ours is probably the largest one. I feel great the way our club's turned out because we have so many members.
It's just a very nice group to be with, and it's something to look forward to every month where you get to talk to people about Shirley Temple, learn things maybe you didn't know about, and share what you know about, and just have a nice social time and with a good group of people.
We have one thing in mind, and that's to keep Shirley Temple uppermost in our doings in the club. My very first scrapbook that I started when I was collecting Shirley Temple was when I was 8 years old, and I saw a gorgeous little picture of this little girl in a magazine, and I didn't know who it was. Then all of a sudden, boom, I saw them every place. Sometimes, you know, I'll call the girls over and say, I'm having a picnic. It's a nice day, and I've got lots of food and everything, and I'll have a few of them come over. How about some orange juice or coffee? I'm having tea myself.
That's very nice.
Yes. Okay, here's the book.
Exhibit A!
Oh, wow.
Ah, that's a pretty
It's
thing.
signed by Shirley when she was 5 years old. It's her wedding pictures.
Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
Stricken ill, big headlines. She's a socialite, and they cross Shirley Temple as if she's a nobody.
Oh, right. Oh, that is cute.
Yeah, it's a real cute picture. That's her mom's favorite shot. These here are all little candy cigarettes.
Boxes.
Little flip-top book, paper dolls, pencils, tablets, the fountain pens, little cameos, the little dinner bells with her picture on it. And of course, look at the countless pins and the little signatures also on the doll dresses. And the dolls were just as pretty as she was, really. It just went on and on and on.
Shirley's earliest stuff is really expensive. Posters for the films that are prior to these features, they're like $3,000, $5,000 a piece, sometimes as much as $10,000 for a poster. We've got this amazing window card. She's got a really lovely image here of Shirley and John Bowles. But it's really badly damaged. It was found in the wall of a house as insulation. The theater owner brought home all the posters, and they're perfect size to fit in between the beams in the wall of the house. It's one of the prettiest things I've ever had on her, and I've never really put anything away because I've never had something that I really liked that much on her. This might be the one.
When I grew up and got married, my husband was a big Shirley Temple fan. He had nothing but Shirley Temple scrapbooks, but I made him put them all away when he married me.
There's a pin that I have that's her 50th anniversary pin. My grandmother showed it to me at a festival once, and I was like, who's that? And my grandma told me, and I started watching her movies and just was so in awe of this girl who was so talented, could do so much, and had so much charisma. And so I just became kind of obsessed. I met her, and I got to do a whole bunch of stuff, and I got her autograph, and I have her autograph inside her book. She says, to Melissa and Paula, best wishes and happy reading, Shirley Temple Black. And she signed a bunch of things for me. I got sheet music, I've got a Wheaties box, I've got the original little blue pitcher. It's like a little pitcher. That's a big collector's item. You know, little things that just fans send me or friends give me for Christmas and whatnot. But so I've got tons of stuff like this.
My name is Sal Ferraro. I'm the owner of Dimples Restaurant in beautiful uptown Burbank, first karaoke club in North and South America, and been here for 22 years.
The
there's pictures of her here everywhere. So I can't think of a better name for a karaoke place such as this is, because this is probably one of the happiest places on the planet.
I got a restaurant. A lot of people just show it at home by memorabilia and thinking about her, but I have a show place for her where people can come and see part of her life. I mean, I look at stuff, I never seen that. And then I have some behind the bar that people have given me, and little cups, little dolls. Awesome. You couldn't buy that. You couldn't buy that wall.
I have a favorite line from a Shirley Temple movie where it's from Heidi, where the mean governess will go, punctuality.
We insist on punctuality in this household.
And then Shirley will go, punctuality.
Punctuality.
And that rings a bell.
I think she gave me a drive to be open to things like dancing, singing, things like that. She inspired me to be well-rounded and to have fun, and also, you know, a lot of people think that being an actor is very serious and dramatic and has to be all tears and this and that, and Shirley was very silly, and I love that about her.
I want to be springy, I want to be happy, I want to be joyous like Shirley Temple. Of course, my mother taught music, and she wanted to say, can't you sing like Shirley? Well, Mom, I've tried.
Keep cheering, artists, keep cheering, don't stop, keep it going, keep it going.
I stayed up all night watching Shirley Temple shows. I just sang and danced with her. I just watched her. My eyes on the TV. It's like me, I'm facing to the TV. It's like, I can't see. I have to copy her. Animal crackers in my soup. Monkeys and rabbits loop the loop. Gosh, oh gee, but I have fun swallowing animals one by one.
When Holly was 3 years old, my mother bought her a videotape, Shirley Temple sing-along songs. She watched that tape all the way through, and she jumped up and said, "Mom, look at me." And she started singing and dancing, and she was just amazing. I just could not believe what an effect this tape had on her. We put her on stage one day, and they loved her.
Animal crackers in my soup.
Big cheer for Holly.
As soon as she was done with her song, she jumped off a 3-foot stage and said, "Mom, I did it!" And that was it. We've been putting her on ever since. Shirley Temple has really been quite an inspiration for her to go on and not let anything stop her.
As a boy, growing up in Los Angeles, Shirley Temple was the excellent show to watch. My whole family, we'd all sit around the couch, all on the floor, the 11 children, all watching Shirley Temple movies. All of us singing along with every song she had. It was one of the only times that we could see black people on TV, too, so we had a great time watching our own kind on TV. Miss Lord, there's only one word for the way you look in your new clothes, and that is scrumptious. The story of how her relationship with her father, the father was always trying to help her, and she was trying to help him, and she loved him so much. It made me want to have a daughter that would love me so much, and I have one now, and she's right over there. When we started doing pageants, my daughter would come out on stage, and she'd do her little thing on stage, and then I'm thinking, Shirley Temple, Shirley Temple. I remember, so I said, do your hands like this when you're on stage, you know? And she would do that. The things that I thought Shirley Temple would do, I was asking her to do. So she started doing it on stage, and she started winning these pageants. Next we have Lindsay Jordan.
Boy and daddy's girl.
Lindsay Jordan is Little Miss Palmdale.
Out of all the songs Lindsay sings, when she sings Shirley Temple to a crowd, everybody knows a Shirley Temple song. It's kind of neat, too, because with all the hip-hop and everything going on, there's still room for Shirley Temple. You know, even the Britney Spears and whatever else, Shirley Temple is still right in there.
She'll never fade out.
She'll never fade out, huh?
Well, let's hope not.
I love Shirley Temple and love to dance with her a little bit someday, even though a time step, but I'm sure she could teach me a great time step.
Concentrate.
My name's Leah Sullivan, and I'm the owner and director of On the Beat Dance Academy here in Granada Hills, and this is my studio. I decided to name a tap step after Shirley Temple because she's basically famous for this step, and she does it in so many movies.
May I show Mommy the new step you taught me?
That's good. That's a really good Shirley Temple. Okay, all right, here we go. Go back, heel, brush heel, go back, heel. My kids love the Shirley Temple time step. I was telling them, I think like this is also a part of it that makes me laugh because I used to do it in the grocery stores when I'm looking for what cereal or making decisions. If there's decision making in any way or form of my life, I'm just going like this in my tennis shoes. I'm just sitting there, okay, do I want to have this cereal or that cereal? Do I want to have this? What do I want? What do I want for dinner? And I was telling my kids this, the students I teach, and they laugh so hard and they go, oh, Miss Leah, I do the Shirley Temple time step all the time in the grocery store now too. I mean, they do it all the time too, not just in class. They love to do it. Okay, let's try it again. Ready? Full lap, heel, heel, brush, heel, toe, heel. Full lap, heel, heel, brush, heel. I think Shirley Temple is still an inspiration today with all the kids from the youngest ones to the oldest ones. I mean, she continues through the ages. It's amazing.
Looks as though you were a very popular young woman.
When I watched a movie from Shirley Temple, I told my mom I wanted a tap dance. When I watched the Shirley Temple movies, I saw her dance, and I immediately said, I want to take tap too, just like Shirley Temple.
They know all the movies, they watch movies with their families. I think it's one of those things where it's just a tradition. It moves on and it moves on and it keeps going and it keeps going. And I don't think it's going to end. I think it's going to continue. Now do the Shirley Temple. Lap, heel, heel, brush, heel, toe, heel.
Debbie Roberts, and I'm dancing the Codfish Ball from Shirley Temple's Captain January here at Adventure City.
We'll join in the jamboree at the Codfish Ball.
I'm a big Shirley Temple fan. She's my idol. Dancing when I was about 17 or 18 years old. My family couldn't afford it, so I put myself through school. Always keeping in mind that Shirley dances. In my performing and in my teaching, she's always been there. You know, going, oh, to dance like Shirley.
I'm Mary Cassell. I've been coaching for over 20 years. And then we're going to stroke nicely. And I've been coaching Delaney for about 2. And I came up with the idea to have her do a Shirley Temple number because she looked a lot like Shirley Temple.
I like how she sings and she looks pretty. And I love her songs.
We were showing up to the competition and people were coming to us and stating, oh, she looks just like Shirley Temple. And then the coach, the first time the coach saw her, she said the same thing. She says, wow, you know, she really looks like Shirley Temple. She would not skate to anything else but Shirley Temple. And so that's when Mary said, well, you know, we can do animal crackers.
Shirley was a very talented little dancer and singer, and that's what I want for all my skaters, to be good little skaters that are talented and try really hard at what they do.
Shirley Temple's someone that they can look up to, and I think it's important that kids have someone they can look up to. You ready? I'm glad my daughter has decided that she likes her and that she is pursuing it.
When Shirley Temple's happy, she does this.
I think we've created a monster.
This is a little doll that I always said, she slept for about 3-4 years before I knew that I had her. Before my husband died, he bought this doll. I didn't know anything about it. This was going to be a Christmas gift to me. He had the doll in the box and died just after that. When I moved here to Ojai 3-4 years later, well, I came across the box. And I said, well, I guess it's time for me to open this. And it was right around Christmas time again. And I opened the box, and here's the doll. So I knew at that time that this was a Christmas gift to me from my husband. So consequently, you understand how I feel about her.
Look, Mr. Pagan, look what Santa Claus brought me.
At the beginning of World War II, all Japanese, be they American citizens or not, you know, Japanese Americans, were put into internment camps. And we were allowed to take only what we could carry. I carried my most precious item, which was my Shirley Temple doll. She's a little deteriorated now, and I had her refurbished once before. I don't think it was. There we go. Here she is. She was my company for many years during the internment camp. Played with her. Now at that time, who had dresses like this? I think this is a Good Ship Lollipop dress. We were put into barracks. We had army blankets, and she gave me great pleasure. I don't remember the cold so much. I do remember playing with her and changing her clothes, and it was a big treasure.
I just think that she brought so much joy to people at such a hard time, and she became a legend. Every time you see Marilyn Monroe and James Dean, you see Shirley Temple. And she's forever that little kid. I think that the joy she brought to people really will be around for a long time, and the things that are associated with joy become pop icons.
There is no end to her. There's no end to it.
Phew! I'm gonna be a busy person, aren't I?
I think she did a hell of a job, and I think she did a hell of a lot for the industry.
Did I pass the examination?
She's accomplished the American dream.
She's become a true American icon.
Thank you.
She was absolutely a joy to behold.
My, you are nice.
She was such a talent. The dancing.
Every time I see her dancing, oh, Shirley.
I like you.
It's a lucky thing for us that she found her way into film.
You seem kind of excited.
We always watched the movies, and, you know, I used to know those songs backwards and forward.
Animal crackers in my soup.
You're not much good at playing games, are you, mister?
I hope her legend goes on for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
I'm not worried.
It'll continue, and it goes on and on. She's a legend. She's beautiful. I love you.
And hi, Shirley. Hello, Shirley.
Hi, Shirley. You're my idol.
You really have something that nobody else had.
Shirley, I've always admired you so much, and you will always be a legend.
Wow, Shirley Temple, you are an amazing woman.
It's amazing that you made my grandmother's and so many's lives so wonderful, and just thank you for that.
I love you.
We all love you very much.
Thank you so much for all the inspiration and all the joy.
Thank you, Shirley, for being the sweetest, most adorable.
What's the matter? Has the cat got your tongue?
Lollipop in the world.
I think you're great, baby.
I'll call you tomorrow.
Shirley, baby, keep it up. One of these days you're going to be a big star.
You got to SMILE to be HABBY. Keep it in mind when you're blue. It's easy to spell and just as easy to do. Got to SMILE. It's gonna help considerably. Just keep your chin up and give it a try, and you'll find silver lined clouds in the sky. You've got to SMILE to be HABBY.
How about them nipples?
like those Shirley Temples? Or...
Yeah, you know, I still get them every now and then. They usually have a little Seagram's poured in there too.
But I've got to tell you now, Mrs. Temple would sit by the camera, and she actually, they'd say, all right, action camera, and she really did say, "Sparkle Shirley." And boy, did she sparkle.